Three, two, one. Hey, it's Wild Josh from Geek-Cetera, joined by Chase and Ezra. And we're going to talk about WandaVision, Episode 3. Now, let's get geeky. So, this episode was crazy.
This whole show is crazy. There
true.
were a fair amount of drugs taken when they were writing this.
Did you have Joa on last week?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
We had Colton.
Okay.
So
yeah.
I don't know if I told you this, Chase. You watched Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. Joa said that this show has major Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared energy, and I completely agree with it. Because for the first 30%, no, sorry, like 2/3 of it, it's like completely normal, or it's just the end portion that just goes completely crazy and insane off the rails, and it is like horrifying almost. So, but yeah. Anyway,
I don't know that show.
It's a YouTube series.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
So, I'm trying to remember. I only watched it once now, but we get in the color, which is cool. Like getting a little bit more modern, and interesting how there was ties to like the first two episodes with things like Wanda cuts up a pineapple, and at the beginning or one of the points, and that pineapple was just given to her in the first episode. But now she's already like bursting and about to have a baby. So time is really wanky.
I want to go back to something you actually talked about when we talked about episode 2. And that's the changing of the house. Yeah. Is it going to change every episode? Is that what's happening? Because I didn't notice it from episode 1 to episode 2. Because I'm oblivious. But I definitely noticed it from episode 2 to episode 3. Not just because it was in color, but the entire layout of the house was way different. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of craziness.
Here, I don't know if you know. I don't know if you noticed this, Chase, but the first episode was in the 50s, and the second one was in the 60s, and then after that, this one's in the 70s.
Yeah,
Did you pick up on that?
10 years.
Because the first two were black and white, they were the same to me.
Oh, that's funny.
This definitely, you could tell the change of time period.
Being sarcastic, but that's hilarious.
No, the first two, they were the same time period. Nothing changed between the two for me. This definitely, you noticed a major difference.
Yeah, I know. You definitely
in everything.
Did. So early in this episode, because I'm trying to string my memories in a row here, he goes outside. His neighbor is out there cutting the hedges,
cutting the wall,
and he is like chainsawing through the wall, like nothing is happening.
Yep.
And
I don't know whether to laugh or be scared to death.
Yeah.
Looks like you went a little far on the hedge trimming there. Oh, well, yeah, I did, didn't I?
What kind of hedge trimmer is cutting through cinder block?
That's the exact kind of energy I'm talking about, though. But yes, it's funny. It also is you can obviously tell that the backdrop is two-dimensional. It's just a canvas painting, right? And you can it kind of looked too like that the wall was made of cardboard.
Yes.
Yeah.
Completely intentionally. I don't know. It's just funny to me. It was just especially jarring because you see sparks coming out of cardboard.
Yeah.
It just looks really funny.
I do like that they're doing
a little disconcerting.
The practical effect. They're making it look like it was legitimately filmed during that time period, though.
Right.
Which is cool, I think.
But I think just for me, the imagery was what kind of sold the moment. That something's really weird right now. Something really weird is happening.
Yeah.
I also want to touch on the point, throughout the first couple episodes, every time something is off, it kind of rewinds.
Yeah,
so that thing didn't happen. But
it kind of gives you the impression she rewinds.
Yeah, but now we're at a point where they realize she's pregnant, but we didn't get any rewind. It's the first time where, like, something is majorly off that hasn't just, like, undone itself.
Yeah.
So I wonder...
And it kind of shows who has the remote control. You know what I mean? Like, she's the one that's making this whole dream sequence television show thing, and is in control of it, right? And like, she obviously wanted the child, and even though Vision had like concerns that, you know, the neighbors are gonna, she didn't really care. She just wanted to have a baby, you know. So it's just interesting.
But it's interesting too, and I didn't pick up on this. Someone had to point it out to me, how they've made a concerted effort to show that Wanda, if something is presented to her, she'll buy it. So like, there's been ads in like the magazines and things that she's been reading, and then afterwards you'll see the items in the house. So there was like some dish soap called Joy, and then like it was in the house at one point, and some different things like that. So you're getting the idea, like, it's easy in the state that she's in, whatever is going on, to implant an idea into her mind and for it to happen.
Ooh.
And in episode 2, they at the scene where they're having that little talent show or whatever, they all talk about children and when are you gonna, like, the children. And then in the next episode, she's pregnant. So
now I'm wondering, we have a theory video coming out on Wednesday that talks about something from episode 2 and a Strucker watch. Have we seen that watch in the show?
I haven't seen the watch per se, but I think even like different than the commercials, just like advertisement and things that are in the show are even being presented to her, and she's like, so what I'm thinking. And what I feel like after watching this last episode is that the children are going to be more important than we know, because they planted the idea of her having children, in her mind, and then she had children. So maybe they're not whoever's behind all this isn't as interested in Wanda and Vision as they are their children that they would create.
And they could be using the children as a way to control Wanda, though.
True.
Especially if you think... I was going to say, real quick, if you think about, you know, she doesn't have a relationship with her parents. Her and her brother were orphaned. So, like, the bond that she would have with her kids, not wanting them to be raised the same way she was raised, it'd be really easy, like, if you make a threat to one of the kids to get her to do whatever you want for her to protect her kids. I don't know. That's just a thought. Sorry, Ez.
No, it's okay. I was wondering, so, like... and I guess we don't really know, right? But, like, I was kind of curious as if she's the one, making up this whole fantasy world. And the commercials are what's being, you know, like, implanted into that world, right? So, like, that's whoever's in control of this, Sword or whatever, is putting these, like, commercials in there to kind of, like, influence things. I don't know. You know what I mean? Because like, there's obviously a point to them, I feel like. Because at first I was kind of just like, you know, haha, funny commercial, like, it's got references to Hydra, but like, I think there's a reason why they're there, more than just that.
Yeah,
I think there might be a reason to everything in this.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting the sense of.
So I've started to gather that this isn't something happening in Wanda's mind and they're implanting these other thoughts. This is something that she is in, and they're using it to control her. Because in her own mind, she wouldn't be, you know, in all those scenes where it's just Vision, she wouldn't be making those scenes up in just her mind of the neighbor cutting through the wall, or of, you know, Monica Rambeau, whatever her character's name is, you know, being, like, thrown out. Yeah, Geraldine. Like, that wouldn't be in Wanda's mind. So this is more like a controlled setting that they've put Wanda in. and she's like a why can't I think of it's in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. The Framework. I don't know if you guys ever got to that scene.
This is where I kind of disagree with you.
Okay.
Because she, like, from what I'm gleaning from this, is she's in a dreamlike state. And everything that she's not directly focusing on is controlled by her subconscious. And it's going to be a little weird, you know? Like, what the hedge trimmer thing didn't happen in front of her.
So it wouldn't be happening at all. Like, your subconscious wouldn't be building that scenario.
Can I jump in for a second?
Yeah.
Because I was completely with you as that she was dreaming, or this was all in her head, until she threw Geraldine out, and she went through some kind of wall of energy and was knocked out on the other side. And then you see like a camp surrounding this whole area. And I was like, okay, she's at an actual place.
Did that give you guys like Maze Runner vibes?
So okay, why is Geraldine though different than all the other people in her head?
They're not. They're all there because
because the other ones were suspecting Geraldine of being from somewhere else.
Yeah, but Ezra, they also said that they're all there because
yeah, he's right.
I hated that scene.
But Geraldine was different. Geraldine
was different because she was planted in there, I think.
That's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm getting at.
But not in a dream in this place.
Yeah.
I think she was actually there. That's why we see her get thrown out.
Yeah.
And now what I don't know is she there on her own doing because it's something she's trying, or is someone pulling the strings behind the scene? And when Geraldine goes flying through that wall, and did you notice when she went through it, like pixelated, almost like TV? Like if you watch that scene when she goes through, it's almost like TV, like scramble vision, kind of like, which was kind of interesting because they're in a sitcom. But also those people come rushing in. I don't know if those people are good people or bad people. Like, I don't know if they're working with Geraldine or if they were upset that Geraldine was in there in the first place.
Judging by the fact that they kind of had guns drawn on her,
that's what it looked like to me too.
I would say that they are not friendlies.
I also disagree.
Sort of watching somehow, right? So I'm like really confused.
So
as to what is
you
going
think they
on.
are friendlies?
Do you think they were expecting a woman to come flying out of the sky and land on the ground? And
no, I don't.
So then obviously they came to the scene not knowing what to expect.
Okay, fair. I'll concede that point. But yeah,
I think Geraldine's an agent.
Yeah. But this entire episode got me thinking about the framework from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So, the framework was kind of this, like, alternate reality that people got put into involuntarily and had their memories kind of overwritten. And they lived in this virtual world where, you know, Hydra had taken over and all this stuff. And then when they came back to the real world, they had a full lifetime of memories from the framework as well as their full lifetime memories from the real world. So I was starting to wonder if this is like a framework type scenario where in order to keep her sedated, they've built this virtual world. And when like the framework was first being built, and they were keeping Melinda May in there, they had to like keep changing things because she would keep like realizing that it was fake. So I wonder if this is like Hydra's attempt at that. And so they're still working out the bugs, and that's why we get those rewinds. I don't know.
You could be right.
Yeah. My reasoning behind. So I'm trying to like remember completely what the framework, what that whole story arc, what happened.
There was the doctor and his android.
Yeah.
And they slowly took over S.H.I.E.L.D. with the LMDs. So in order to, like, replace the person with their own android, they had to, like, keep them somewhere. And in order to keep them from, like, finding a way to break out, they basically put them in a virtual reality machine, like the Oasis from Ready Player One.
So, would Wanda have any control over, like, rewinding things that she didn't want to happen if she was in the framework?
No. But if she started to realize that something was wrong, that's when Hydra might rewind and say, whoops, we missed that bit up. Let's undo that.
It seemed
like,
to me more like she was doing it willingly. Like she was...
Yeah, I got that feeling too.
I don't know, because it was anytime something started to seem off, which is when she might realize, wait, this isn't the real world, and start fighting it. That's when everything got rewound. Because when she saw the beekeeper, she was just like, no. And then it rewound. So, you could make the argument either way, I guess. This is one heck of a confusing show, let me just say.
It really is, yeah. It really, really is. Let's see. So it has been confirmed, and actually a listener to our live stream last week had said that Geraldine was Monica Rambeau, right? And that has been actually confirmed, I guess, by Marvel, that is the case. So she definitely has something. And Monica Rambeau actually had was a superhero. She, like, gets superpowers. So the question could be raised is, does she get superpowers in this? This could be her origin story of how she gets superpowers, or even maybe, unless she already has them at this point. But she does get superpowers, which I thought was interesting. Also, what I thought was interesting was kind of a minor thing, but the doctor, his name was Dr. Nielsen. And do you guys ever heard of a Nielsen rating? No. It's like how they determine, or it's like how you know, like, like how they, it's a organization that determines viewership. So, like, when they say that was the most watched show of 2020, it's the Nielsen rating of the show. Like, so it's kind of interesting that this is a sitcom, it's a show, and the doctor was Nielsen. I think that's probably like a little nod to the Nielsen rating for sure. I still feel like there's something going on with Agnes.
We did not see a ton of her this episode.
But what we did see was her, like, working it when we did see her, like, not at the Agnes that we got before, where she's happy and, like, you know, like, she knows so something's going on. Like, they all know something's going on.
Yeah. I want to talk about how annoying
Which is why I think they're made up by Wanda's subconscious.
Maybe.
If Wanda gets the sense that something isn't going wrong, she's like forcibly trying to deny that, but her subconscious knows that something's not going on.
But I just don't understand why that's not happening in a scene where she's present then. Like, why is she having an out-of-body third-person viewership of something being off? Like, why isn't she there to experience it?
This is a dream.
But how often in your dreams are you not yourself? How are you, like,
or like watching a television show?
Yeah, but, like, how often are you in the dream, but you aren't yourself, you're experiencing it from the outside?
I've had that happen.
Happens. Yeah, that happens.
No. I never remember any of my dreams, so to me that seems really weird. Because all of the dreams I can remember.
Yeah, as if I was watching a television show.
Weird. I guess I literally, because I don't sleep well, I do not have dreams that often. And so, like, all of the dreams that I ever remember are all first person. Like,
oh, really? No, I've had dreams where I'm like watching. I'm not actually,
Huh. That's really
weird. It doesn't
weird
happen as often as I have dreams where I am, but...
I don't know. But yeah, so I want to talk about how annoying the scene with Agnes was. Because that was unnecessary. Either don't say anything, or just tell us. But don't... I don't want to hear that same line 8 times. If you want to give it to me once and hard cut before like anything else happens, like, oh, the reason we're all here is because, and then just end it. But don't say, well, the reason we're all here is because, well, we're all here because, like, it infuriated me to no end. I can't be the only one that's annoyed by that.
I mean, it's like The Lost, right? Like every episode ended where you're like, no, I want it. What?
But at least it was just like a hard cut. It wasn't like they didn't tease it 6 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is like kind of the same feeling though, where you think you're close to like figuring something out, and they take it away from you. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I'm fine with not knowing until next episode. I just didn't want to hear
a word or two away from knowing, and then they it's like, no, can't have it.
Nope.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same like Lost feeling too, as you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
There are a lot of times where you feel like you're getting it, and like the sense that yes, we know what's going on. Like there is something going on, and it like we could give it to you right now. You're like, you know what I mean? Like it's just that sense of like, yeah. Anyway.
Lost was mean because sometimes they would do that in the middle of an episode too, and then you wouldn't come back to that story.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh,
That's
what we
they
didn't
had a ton
talk
of characters,
about
but yeah,
is kind of important. We did talk about Geraldine getting thrown out, but why she was thrown out for talking about her brother, and she said he was killed by Ultron, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And then like Wanda's demeanor completely turned, and I thought Chase might be right, or was it Chase? Yeah.
About what?
She could be the next villain.
Yes.
Because she totally like snapped, and then we see her flying through.
I'm still riding on that, especially with if everything you're saying, like all of those ads are being subliminally implanted, and there's the Hydra Watch. Hydra now owns the most powerful superhero.
Yeah. I'm kind of curious, and I mentioned it to you guys before, whether it won't be necessarily Hydra, but like an offshoot of Hydra, like AIM, where we'll get... And it's kind of interesting if you look at AIM's costumes. Now, they're not beekeeper costumes, but they're kind of look like...
Yeah, the picture you saw was really something. I wish I had saved it so I could put it up. So, I don't know. But, yeah, when I saw her, like when her brother was mentioned and Ultron was mentioned and stuff that actually happened in reality... And then Gerald, she like totally turned on her axis and was like, no longer sitcom-y Wanda. And
yeah. So like I kind of like, and I'm thinking I'm developing a theory here, and like I want to say that like they have sedated her for a reason, and
they're giving her some happy meds.
I think, like, I wonder if she had like a mental breakdown, and you can't have a very high-powered superhero have a mental breakdown and start destroying things. You know what I mean? Like, and I wonder if this is their way of rehabilitating her by giving her this dream state and trying to slowly introduce these concepts of like, this is what real life actually is, like slowly reintroduce them back to her so that...
I'm fine with that, but then why is there a Hydra Watch? Why would they let that get in there?
So because again, they have to slowly reintroduce her old memories that caused her pain, right? Such as Hydra.
Well, Hydra made her, right? Because Strucker was part of Hydra when he was experimenting on them.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So like just slowly try to like bring her back to reality.
It's possible.
And that's why I think Geraldine was like
if she is a SHIELD agent, like
started
to
there? Yeah, like or she started to like talk about her brother, right?
Yeah,
but then realized, oh, too much, too quickly.
And she did sing that song, right? That like little like lullaby song. And Sokovian lullaby or whatever.
Yeah, so maybe they're like, oh, we're close to a breakthrough, and then she tried to like develop that a little bit, but then realized she pushed it a little too far. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm thinking is going on, at least.
No, that's good. It makes sense.
Yeah. Huh. So, anything else?
I feel like there's probably more, but
I know there probably is. Where are we going in next episode? Where do we go from there?
Are we actually moving on to the 80s, or are we getting another episode in the 70s?
I mean, I kind of feel like we have to.
Because so how many episodes are there in this season, Josh?
9, and it's only a mini series, so I think that's it. 9 episodes, and that's it.
If that's the case, though, we'd end up way too far in the future, and we don't know what sitcoms are going to look like in the future.
True, and we don't know if it's going to last in here, because now, did you notice when Geraldine got thrown out, the aspect ratio changed? So when they were actually in there
in real life, it went to I've noticed I'm like 16:9, and Monty's like, what?
How you get as excited? Aspect ratios.
Well, and they don't even. Yeah. Anyway.
So, I think that maybe at some point there'll be more time spent out there than inside, but I don't know. Maybe not.
I kind of think like I think we'll go through the 80s and the 90s at least. I feel like, and then we'll start to try to make this a show, like a Marvel show and not a sitcom anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
I'm curious if we'll split now and we'll get story that has to do with what's going on inside the sitcom, and then what's going on with Geraldine outside.
Yeah.
Sword or whoever
it's got her. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we see any sword?
Maybe we'll have like a whole episode like another sitcom, or like a whole episode outside.
Yeah.
And then another sitcom episode. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it's actually, I want to go back and talk about, if this is kind of giving off Maze Runner vibes, do we get a scene or an episode like that happens, like, here's why everything's happening the way it's happening before the kids were drugged and thrown into this pit?
Yeah, like a little bit of backstory. I know
why is Wanda here in the first place, kind of thing, before we get the resolution?
We have to get that at some point, and I feel like it is before the season ends.
Yeah.
So that's why I think at least some of those episodes are going to be about.
That's true. That's a good point.
I think because it's a miniseries too, and it's only 9 episodes, it won't be a season 2, that we will have a definite conclusion to this. Although it may pick up in other stuff that they're going to be doing.
I didn't even think about that. I don't know why. I thought this was going to get a second season at least.
No, it's just called a miniseries, what they're calling it on IMDb. So it should be it. Should wrap with the 9th episode. So
yeah.
Weird.
Well, I don't know. I'm slowly becoming more and more excited for each episode to come out. Absolutely. Now I'm really excited for Friday. Like, oh man, what's gonna happen?
Yeah, I like that I'm confused, I think. I think that's what I am excited about, is I'm like, okay, what are they doing now? What is the game plan?
Yeah, so if you think about what they've come out with for Disney Plus series that are like actually, something that you want to watch, it's Mandalorian, which we already are loving and addicted to, and now this, like, they're hitting it out of the ballpark every time. So I'm pretty excited to see what's to come. Sure.
I'm just like, after the first 2 episodes, and I wasn't here for that, but for that podcast, but after the first 2 episodes, I just heard Kyle's voice echoing, what gave you the idea that this was going to be a sitcom?
I know. It was, the first 2 episodes were super sitcom-y.
And so wasn't the third, but like,
the third one was,
we're getting farther away.
70, at least 70% of the show so far has been sitcom.
Yeah.
I like that they're increasing the amount of story you get each episode. Like, the first episode was barely any, second a bit more, third a bit more. So it's been good. I like the way they did it.
Yeah,
I think it's pretty good too. And even though the first 2 episodes were kind of like, I don't really know what's going on here. Yeah. I mean, they were still still good. Like they were still entertaining.
Yeah.
You know, they were weird.
And here's the thing: is
but entertaining.
I really get the idea that once we get to this resolution through the last episode, you're gonna look back at like the first 2 episodes and be like,
yeah,
oh, everything makes so much sense now. I think they're that kind of thing that, you know, it's gonna be made better by the end.
I agree, and I kind of like. Monty was like, what did we just watch? And I'm like, yeah, like that was very weird. And like, but I kind of was like, we just kind of need to stick with it. I think, like, I definitely think it will get better. It's just like I don't know what I just witnessed.
Right.
It wasn't like bad or good, but it was just like, I don't know what this is.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm glad it's like those first 2 episodes like exist to just build that hype, I think.
Yeah.
You know, especially after the 3rd one, you kind of look back at the first 2 and you're like, yeah, like that was just a teaser to like what kind of joyride this thing is gonna be.
So,
yeah.
I do wanna. Did we see any sword from episode 3? Because we got a little bit.
Yeah.
Of, what did we see?
Her necklace.
Her necklace.
Yes, that's what it was. Okay. I was trying to remember. I thought there was something. I just couldn't remember what it was. Yeah, necklace. That makes sense.
That was a big one.
Yeah.
And it almost made it seem like, didn't it almost kind of seem like Wanda recognized it a little bit?
Yeah, the way they like zoomed in on it.
Yeah. So that was kind of interesting.
I think that's what like tipped her off at, you know, when she first realized, like, that's what made her first realize, like, oh, she doesn't really belong
no
here.
bueno.
Yeah. All right. So I think that's it, huh? I got nothing else.
I think
Till next week.
Yeah.
There's not much to talk about in this show.
No, and they're shorter episodes, especially when you have 30 or 27 minutes of credits and stuff at the end.
Yeah.
It's like you get 3 minutes of show, and it's like so many credits. Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
I still can't tell when the credits actually start. Like, okay, this is the end of the show. Like,
I'll watch the colorful credits, and then when it gets to the regular credits, I'm like, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah.
This is just another 8 minutes of just scrolling names.
Text, yeah.
It's crazy. But all right, thanks for watching this live stream of WandaVision episode 2. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you have any theories of what could be going on? Because we'd love to hear them. Thanks for watching, and I can't wait to be a proud papaya.
Hail Hydra.